What if the one person you trusted most held a secret that could shatter your world? At the heart of a joyous wedding, where vows were meant to bind two souls, a single speech unraveled everything. This is the story of Clara, a woman caught between loyalty and truth, love and betrayal, and the courage to face the consequences of her choices. Clara stood at the edge of the banquet hall, her fingers trembling as she clutched the microphone. The room buzzed with laughter and clinking glasses, the air thick with the scent of roses and champagne. Her half-sister, Emily, radiant in her white gown, beamed at her groom, Daniel, whose warm smile had once been Clara's entire world. The guests, oblivious to the storm brewing in Clara's heart, waited for her maid of honor speech. She was expected to weave a tale of sisterly love, of Emily's kindness, of Daniel's devotion. But the words Clara had rehearsed felt like lies, choking her as they rose. She and Emily had grown up as strangers, their fathers' two lives colliding only in their teens. Clara, the older, quieter one, had always felt like an outsider in Emily's polished world. Yet, over time, they'd built a fragile bond, one Clara cherished despite its cracks. Emily had chosen her as maid of honor, a gesture that felt like a bridge between their fractured pasts. But now, standing before the crowd, Clara knew that bridge was about to burn. 6 months ago, everything had changed. Daniel, Emily's fiancé, had come to Clara's apartment late one night, his face etched with confusion. He'd said he needed to talk, to escape the pressure of wedding plans. Clara, who had always harbored a quiet affection for him, listened as he poured out his fears. One glass of wine led to another, and in a moment of weakness, boundaries blurred. The next morning, they swore it was a mistake, a secret to be buried. But secrets, Clara learned, have a way of growing. Now, as she faced the expectant crowd, her heart pounded. She began her speech, her voice steady but laced with an undercurrent of pain. Loyalty, she said, is the foundation of family. It's what holds us together, even when we're tested. The guests nodded, smiling, unaware of the weight behind her words. She spoke of Emily's grace, her strength, and how she'd welcomed Clara into her life. She praised Daniel's warmth, his ability to make everyone feel seen. Each word was a dagger, cutting deeper into her resolve. But then, Clara's voice faltered. She looked at Emily, whose eyes sparkled with trust, and at Daniel, whose gaze was fixed on her, pleading. She could stop now, deliver the toast, and let the wedding unfold. No one would know. But Clara's hand drifted to her abdomen, where a new life stirred a life that tied her to Daniel in a way no one could ignore. The truth clawed at her, demanding release. I have to be honest, Clara said, her voice breaking. The room fell silent, every eye on her. Loyalty means truth, even when it hurts. And the truth is I'm pregnant. With Daniel's child. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Emily's face crumpled, her bouquet slipping from her hands. Daniel stood frozen, his eyes wide with horror. Clara's knees buckled, but she forced herself to stand tall. I'm so sorry, Emily, she whispered, tears streaming down her face. I never meant to hurt you. The hall erupted into chaos. Guests whispered, some shouting accusations, others rushing to Emily's side. Clara stood alone, the microphone still in her hand, her confession echoing in the stunned silence. Emily, trembling, stared at her half-sister, betrayal etched into every line of her face. How could you? She choked out before fleeing the room, her veil trailing behind her like a ghost. Daniel followed, his face a mask of guilt and despair. Clara wanted to run, to disappear, but her feet were rooted to the ground. She'd known this moment would destroy everything: her bond with Emily, her place in their family, her own sense of self. Yet, she'd chosen honesty, not for absolution, but because she believed Emily deserved the truth, no matter how brutal. In the days that followed, the fallout was relentless. Emily refused to see Clara, her silence more painful than any words. Daniel, torn between guilt and duty, offered to support Clara but could barely meet her eyes. The family fractured, old wounds reopening as Clara became the outcast once more. Yet, amidst the wreckage, Clara found a strange peace. She'd faced her mistake, owned it, and chosen to protect the life growing inside her. Months later, Clara sat alone in a small apartment, her hand resting on her swollen belly. A letter arrived, the handwriting unmistakably Emily's. With trembling fingers, Clara opened it. "I'm still angry," it read, "but I want to understand. Meet me. Let's talk." Tears blurred Clara's vision. It wasn't forgiveness, not yet, but it was a start, a fragile thread of hope in a tangled mess of pain. Clara's story isn't one of neat resolutions or happy endings. It's a reminder that love and loyalty are messy, that truth can break as much as it heals. But in her courage to speak, to face the consequences, Clara showed that even in our darkest moments, there's a chance to rebuild, not to erase the past, but to create something new from its pieces.